Darkwolf in with the big fat dono. Thank you so much for the 15 bucks, Darkwolf. Yo, we hit 100. That's it. That's the one. That's the one. It's time to do the tiers. It's time. It's time to do the tier list, y'all. All right, because I don't trust this place. Oh, it's a blended scotch. Okay. Since I don't trust this place, I'm gonna log out, and then we're gonna do the tier list instead of just standing around somewhere. Y'all are just in time. We're gonna do it. Okay, so I am making a tier list to rank all of the classic zones based on how good they are for hardcore. Okay, let me give Tesla a big old fat bit of food. Go nuts. Because we are moving over to the tier list. That's not what I wanted. That's what I want. There it is. Haha. We have it. It's here. It's ready to go. They're supposed to be in alphabetical order, so I don't know how Thousand Needles keeps ending up way out here. But, it's supposed to be down here. Alright, so I'm gonna go in alphabetical order. And I would love any type of discussion that y'all would like to provide. I'm gonna have to look up that scotch, because we're actually doing scotch-based cocktail hour tonight. All of my cocktails are scotch. We're doing a scotch take on the bramble. It's called the Dramble. And... oh, it keeps trying to organize as a number. That makes sense. And then we're gonna do a Flying Scotsman, which is basically a Manhattan but with scotch. So, I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so Alterac Mountains. Now this is classic, right? We're playing classic hardcore today. So this means we've got nasty elite ogres that are not exactly something you want to tangle with if you're solo hardcore. Fun and I were able to do it on our duo, but we came in, a bit over level. We made sure that we were ready. We did some of it. Did we do all of it? I think we did, but we were just very over-leveled. But as a solo, it's not something I would even contemplate. I would say Alterac Mountains is a pretty crappy zone for leveling hardcore. Like, you've got one Frostmaw quest that you roll up in there and do. You've got... getting in and out of there can be dangerous for Horde if you pick the wrong direction, because then you run past the Alliance PvP hub. I mean, I guess same thing for Alliance, because the Horde PvP hub is on the other side. Nobody likes dealing with all the stealthy assassin guys. I don't know. Alterac Mountains just seems bad. Yeah, I'm thinking about... there's an elite dragon? I didn't know anything about this. I don't know anything about a rare red dragon. Oh my gosh, how terrifying. I didn't know that. I'm gonna rate Alterac Mountains as just bad for hardcore. It doesn't matter if you're Horde or Alliance. There's not a lot to do there, and what is there is very dangerous. Oh wow. Alright, Arathi Highlands. There's a lot of good leveling there, but it's hard to do the end of the zone because, again, it's a lot of elite mobs. But I almost always hit Arathi, because if you're leveling skinning, it's good. If you're leveling mining, it's good. Herbs, hit or miss. You kind of have to run all over the place. I would rate it as a good zone, because I do take most of my characters through there. Oh, goodness. Good job saving Iconic's life. Hey, watch out for the dragon. What dragon? Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah, I'm thinking Arathi is good. It's not great, because there's a lot of it you can't do solo. Unless you are an incredibly elite player, or crazy and lucky simultaneously. So, does anybody want to make a point for Arathi being better than good or worse than good? I'm thinking of just, it's good. Okay. Yeah, mediocre for Alliance. It's a lot of elite mobs that makes it very hard for hardcore solo players to actually complete any of the quests there. There's a big elite dragon that patrols. Nobody likes doing the syndicate quests. They're stealthy and dangerous. This is classic. We're playing classic and we're ranking classic. There are no Burning Crusade zones on here. It's all classic. Yeah, this is all classic. We're playing classic today. We're ranking classic today. So I'm going to rank Arathi as good. It could be better for Alliance. Or it could be better for Horde. It could be a bit better for Alliance. But it's mediocre for Alliance and good for Horde. Classic hardcore. Yeah, as it pertains to hardcore characters. Alterac is great on multi-lifers because Fun and I can just run each other through stuff and pile on the XP. Alright, Ashen Vale. I think Ashen Vale is a very good zone for both Horde and Alliance. I actually think it's better for Horde, even though it's supposed to be very Night Elf heavy. At least great. I don't know if I would rank it amazing, but there's a lot of good stuff to do there for both sides. Maybe amazing Horde and great Alliance. How are we feeling about Ashen Vale? Yeah, some easy blues. Not amazing because dodging the elite tree path for Horde is annoying. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Alliance, it's great for Alliance. We'll go with great for Horde. We'll go great across the board. Ashen Vale is great. Are we good with great? We can move it. I think great. Ashen Vale is great. I don't enjoy it. But in terms of hardcore leveling capabilities, it is a great zone to level hardcore in. For both sides. For both sides, yeah. Azshara. Azshara. I would say mediocre. A lot of Azshara is going to be the class quests for several of the classes. But then you can't really go any further unless you manage to get a Sunken Temple group. So I don't know. There's a lot of elites. There's a lot to look out for. Great for Horde, but bad for Alliance. Do we want to split the difference and call it mediocre? We're kind of trying to balance things out. Mediocre. It's better for Horde. It's worse for Alliance. But so even though there's a lot of good experience there for the Horde, it's still incredibly dangerous. So there's a lot of risk reward you have to weigh if you're gonna go quest in Azshara. And then that god-awful mongoose grind that we got on the first drop that'll never happen again. I'm gonna say mediocre. Better for some, worse for others. Alright, Badlands. We're on to the bees. Badlands. Again, better for Horde than Alliance. Horde at least has a flight path there. I'm tempted to put it as good. I mean, because this is where you go to get that sweet restoration potion, but you have to go into elite caves to get it, which as a solo player is going to be awful. So I can't really count that potion as something that could be guaranteed on a hardcore character. So I don't really want to call it great. Yeah, mediocre for Alliance for sure, but it's pretty good for Horde. Yeah, you can get the nifty stopwatch. And again, you have to play your professions right though to get some of these things. So it's tricksy for hardcore to get some of these things. It's really good for ore. It's really good for getting the elemental earth that you need for some alchemy stuff. Mediocre or good. So I would say TBC good, classic, mediocre. Yeah, it's excellent for skinning and mining. It definitely is. Yo Jay, what's up? We are making a tier list of how good or bad are the classic zones in classic WoW for hardcore leveling. So specifically as it relates to hardcore. Yeah, it is a really good leather farm zone, and it is a really good ore farm zone. So I'm kind of tempted to say good just for the usefulness of it, and you get the coyote tails to get the dark moon bag. I don't know. I think good. I think good. Because you got the tails for the bag, you got the skins, you've got the ore. Even if the questing itself isn't really anything to write home about, there's a lot more there than just, oh yeah, you can get the fire enchantment for the weapon. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot more to it than just the questing, and I think that might bump it from mediocre to good. Does anybody have a strong disagreement with bumping Badlands up to good? It's good. Go there, do the stuff. Oh, you want more dinner? Puppers wants more dinner. Holding it like a bag for a horse. Okay, good. Now that you've swallowed half of it without chewing. Alright, we're on to Blasted Lands. I mean, my gut reaction is mediocre. Okay, Fun says mediocre also. Like, the animal grind is good to get those buffs, to get skins, to get XP. But you gotta keep your head on a swivel for Teramis. And then, like, going and doing the ogres in their little compound up there, not good for hardcore. Yeah, I like the animal grind. It gives me purpose. See, Fun doesn't like it. I like it. And then doing the cultist quests, those are hit or miss. It really depends on your class as to whether you're gonna have a good time or a bad time with that chain. And it is painfully orange. I'm tempted to say mediocre. I don't think that the grinding for the skins and buff items is enough to bump it over mediocre when you've got things like Teramis. It's very orange, and there's not a lot else to do there for either side. I mean, Alliance has a little bit. They at least have a flight path with Netherguard, but is that enough to really make it better than mediocre? I don't think so. Man, we don't have any amazing stuff yet. Yikes. Burning Steps is terrifying. There's so much elite stuff. I mean, for hardcore. I did. I reached the 100 gold Galahad. We're ranking. Bad. Frexibos is bad. Good for Alliance, but terrifying. So maybe we go with mediocre? Maybe. Because if you're a warrior, this is where you go to grind out your recipe for your mighty rage potion. And boy, that's a grind. The Ogre, the Alliance have to kill Slap so hard. Oh, that's true. That's true. Do we want to go with mediocre or bad? I mean, mediocre is in both options. Oh yeah, caves are awful. And there's just so many elite patrols. Yeah, it's not worth it if you're hardcore. I like bad. I'm really Frexibo, you're swaying me to bad. Most hardcore people don't go there. Of all the end-game zones to get your last 2 or 3 levels in, that is not the one you want to use. If you're Alliance, there's a little bit that you can do there that's worth it, but is it enough to make it mediocre? When on Horde, it is just awful. I don't know. Alright, Darkshore. Alright, Horde, don't go here. So this is speaking from an Alliance perspective. Speaking from an Alliance perspective, I've watched that zone make many have nervous breakdowns. Oh no! It's true though. It's true. Darkshore, yeah, good or amazing. Like, you can seriously go from like 10 to 25 in Darkshore if you play your cards right. I know, Darkshore is so good. I hate being there because it's just not pretty. But who cares if it's pretty? This is how good is it for hardcore leveling? Where are the elites? Talk to me about the elites. What am I missing? There is so much to do there. You can level skinning, you can level herbing, you can get everything up to like almost 150. So much XP and the quests. It's annoying, but Darkshore. We're not in Duskwood Fun, not yet. I'm leaning toward amazing for Darkshore. Yeah, it's bland, but you get so many good quest rewards. There are so many quests, so much XP. You can level your skinning and your herbalism easy, mining iffy, fishing. You can do almost everything there. Yeah, minus the druid quest. The mining is great there. I've never leveled a miner through there, so. Alright, Darkshore makes it amazing. It is. It is amazing. There's so much good stuff. It's not pretty, but it's amazing. Alright, Deadwind Pass. Does anybody care if I just drop this in bad and move on? Bad. What? Fun. How is Deadwind Pass mediocre? I mean, that's kind of a niche thing. The Zone Blizzard. It's where Karazhan is, Abers. It's the one that you have to walk through to get from Duskwood to Swamp of Sorrows. Does anybody want to treat the doggo to the rest of her dinner? She would love it. She would love it very much. Just like fixated. Avers! Avers for the win! Alright, we're gonna pop back over here real quick. There you go. Enjoy the pupper's dinner. I have to mop this floor. I tried to kind of spread it out so she couldn't just... Using the Hoover maneuver. If we drop something on the floor and we're like, oh, well, I guess she can just eat that. The command is vacuum. Like if I'm doing blueberries and prepping blueberries for my dessert for lunch for work or something, and one of them rolls off the counter and lands on the floor, she's standing there staring at me, just waiting for me to say, vacuum. Get them all. Good girl. Oh, good girl. Oh. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. All gone. Yo, a sub, Tesla, you got a sub. What a good girl. Thank you so much, Darkwolf. Thanks for that sub. That's awesome. Thank you, thank you. I guess with that, we should get back to the tier list. Hey, could you say that then? Leave it. Good girl. Good girl. Alright, so where were we? Desolace. Okay, so I'm doing Desolace right now on my Alliance Hunter. And for Alliance, it's a pretty poopy zone. Like, there's not a lot going on. Not a lot going on. But for Horde, there's a lot more to do. Good girl, Tess. There's a lot more for Horde. I still don't think it's anything better than mediocre. Yeah. Terrible for Alliance, pretty good for Horde. Good overall? Ooh, fun. Fun's making the push for good. Okay. Alright. What do the rest of you think? Mediocre or good? I think it's so bad for Alliance that even though it's good for Horde, you like it even as Alliance. Okay. Alright. I can't even find Satyr stuff on the Alliance. Does the Alliance do the Satyr grind? Like, there's a lot of missed opportunity for experience for Alliance, or either that or I'm just not finding the quests. I mean... I have to go to Ironforge to get all that crap? Oh my gosh. That's awful. I gotta look this up then. I'm gonna be making some trips tonight after the stream. That's terrible. Okay. Good to know. Ooh, and that's such a long ways away from Ironforge. Gross. Reclaimer's business. Okay. I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna let Tesla out so she can go get some water after her dinner. She'll probably be back in 15 or 20 minutes. Making a strong push for not mediocre. Alright, does anybody... Alright, I was not gonna put Desolace in good, but y'all are pushing for it, so we'll put it there. Alright, so now we are into Alliance Starter Zones. Dun Moreau of the Alliance Starter Zones. How are we feeling about that one? How good is that one for Alliance? I mean, obviously, if you start as a dwarf or a gnome, you're going to be in and out of here a little bit. But overall, do you tend to stay here because it's a good zone, or do you prefer to go elsewhere? I was going to say mediocre. I think it's one of probably the worst Alliance starting zone. So, I usually do the initial stuff, and then I ignore all the leper gnomes. I usually ignore the trolls. I tend to go do the trogs, because there's like 2 or 3 quests right up in there that I can do pretty quick and easy, but overall, yeah, it's mediocre. It's pretty. That doesn't make it good. Let me text Mrs. Bratt and let her know. the puppers is hers for a few minutes. Alright, start thinking about Durotar as horde leveling. Yeah, Great Father fucks a lot. Yep, I had a run-in with him. Benaria got me killed. Alright, Durotar, we're on to Durotar. Yeah, the quests are all bunched up like in this one little area, and then it's just empty. It could have been very, very much better planned out. Durotar. I was in Durotar today. Have been in Durotar today. I like that there are little mini quest hubs kind of along the way, as well as one or two scattered throughout the landscape. I think Durotar is good, but for a hardcore, Fizzle kills so many people. Skull Rock kills so many people. Like, it's just... It's a harsh place for a hardcore. It's good. There's a lot of good stuff there. There's good quests, and it's a good starter zone. But for hardcore, I'm leaning into good, not great. I'm leaning into good. It's very well laid out, though. I will give them props for that. Yeah, sticky glue. Yeah, it claims a lot of hardcore lives, but again, is it Durotar or is it Fizzle and Skull Rock? Is it all of Durotar is dangerous, or is it just two places that you should know to avoid? I mean, if you want to do the dungeon, you have to go into Skull Rock. And it's also very orange, yes. Fun and I would like Hellfire Peninsula more if it was just not orange. Not orange. Just please not orange. But it's very orange. We just don't like orange zone. I don't know. I'm thinking Durotar is good because if you stay away from Fizzle and you notice Blasted Lands and Burning Steppes, which are orange, are mediocre. Ashara is orange in a good way because it's leaves and it's pretty. It's not just desolate landscape. But we're not ranking how they look. We're ranking how they play for a hardcore character. So Durotar, I'm leaning into good. It's a good zone to start in. A lot of people start there. A lot of people don't have any issues because they know to stay away from Fizzle. So, I'm thinking good. Durotar is good. Alright, what about Duskwood? Here you go with all your elites. So, if there was not so much back and forth from one side of the zone to the other, I would say Duskwood should be great. But since there's so much back and forth from one side of the zone to the other, I think good is the best I can give it. There's so much back and forth on foot. It is awfully drawn out. There's a lot of good experience. It really is. It is, yeah. It's still a lot of running. I don't know, what do y'all think? Good or great? I'll let y'all decide. It looks like Fun and Frexibo think great? Having a hard time telling. Fun would say great. Elites aside, I love Duskwood. Tantive sounds like she's leaning to great. Yeah, imagine flying to a different zone to get to the other side. Yeah. Okay. Duskwood can be great. Duskwood Catacombs, my favorite leveling grind. Oh gosh, no! Oh, it's a cave! No! Okay, fine. I'll give it great. It's so much good XP. The XP is fast, and until you get to the point where you're going back and forth, and if you know the quest chains well enough, you can strategically maneuver so that you're doing 4 or 5 quests and then turning in 4 or 5 quests and then picking up more to go back over and do another chunk of quests. It's not just one quest at a time back and forth, if you know what you're doing. Okay, great it is. Dustwallow Marsh. Hear me out. I think it's great. I think it's great for Alliance, and I think it's great for Horde. Oh yeah, there's the Vendor Axe and Duskwood, which is a perk for hardcore, absolutely, from a hardcore perspective. Alright, Duskwood earns it. I think Dustwallow is great. I do. Just saying. Yeah, I don't like it there, but I still think it's great. It's a lot of good quests. That's where you get your the fishing quest, which is a very important thing for hardcore. It's, if you're Alliance, it's a really good quest hub. Now, it kind of suffers from, I guess, the same thing that Desolace does. A lot of the quests kind of come in from different directions. They're not all at Theramore. There's a lot of stuff for Alliance. You've got all the pirate stuff. You've got the Deserters chain is pretty incredible. Very long. There's a lot of good stuff there. Wait, do Alliance not get any dragon quests at all? Wait, the Deserters chain is not there in Classic? I could have sworn I did that on the Pally before TBC. Because she dinged 40 in Dustwallow. Because I was trying to get to 40 before TBC launched. And she was doing all that stuff. I mean, I know I'm not supposed to question Fenaria because she is, like, the World of Warcraft encyclopedia. Alright. Well, if it sucks for Alliance, maybe it should just be good. It is great for Horde. Maybe I'm thinking of Missing Diplomat. Maybe I'm using the wrong quest name. Okay, so if it's great for Horde but mediocre for Alliance, do we just put it in good? Split the difference? I think we just split the difference. Our good is getting pretty full. Alright, Elwyn Forest. I don't think anybody's gonna argue when I suggest that we should put this one amazing. The Alliance Starter Zones, this is the best one there is. There is so much to do, and it's spread all over, and it's well paced. Elwyn is amazing. Yeah, it's boring, but for hardcore. Look, I said that Duskwood was bad for having to run back and forth. You're like, no, it's fine. And now you're like, oh no, Elwyn sucks. I have to run back and forth. Fenaria, come on. Come on. It's the best starter zone for humans. For Alliance, it's great. Great at a minimum. I think it's amazing. There's a rare you can kill that drops a bag. It takes just as long, and I tried this on multi-lifers. It takes just as long to fly to Westfall and then run back across the river as it does to just run to the other side of the zone from the town. It takes the same amount of time. Alright, I'll settle for great. I'll settle for great. Fine. Eastern Plague Lands. It took it to a new level. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. Alright, what do we think about Eastern Plaguelands? I know, there's so much good stuff. You've got skinning, you've got mining, you've got all the great herbs. It's great for professions. Then you've got a ton of those great kill quests at the very beginning that you don't have to get deep down into the gross stuff to get some decent experience there. It's scary. Yeah, it is scary though. There's a lot of stuff that wants to absolutely jack you up. I think great. I think Eastern Plaguelands is great and Western Plaguelands is mediocre. Like, one is the clear winner. I know, but everybody ends up there, whether they want to or not. You always end up in Eastern Plaguelands. It's not the best endgame zone, but I do think it is a great zone. If you know what to avoid, which if you've made it that far in hardcore, you know what to avoid. You know what you're capable of. You've got a lot of exit strategies. The risk-reward usually pays off in Eastern Plaguelands. I think it's a great zone for hardcore. Yeah. I think it is great for hardcore. Changed my mind. It's not like you don't know what you're doing in hardcore. If you make it to Eastern Plaguelands, you're not likely to die to rookie mistakes. And a lot of Eastern Plaguelands risks can be mitigated by avoiding rookie mistakes. Usually when people die there, it's because they try to tackle that one quest that spawns like 6 dudes in the graveyard. The fearing bats do suck. They do suck. That's true. That's very true. I think good? Yeah. I mean, those mobs can be a little difficult to work around. That's true. When it goes bad, it goes very bad. Alright, we'll go with good. Alright, how about Fellwood? Mediocre all around. It's great for Horde. It's crap for Alliance. It is awful for Alliance. But there's lots of XP. And yeah, and by then you have a mount. Usually. God, that rep grind sucks. I don't know about great fun. It's not an in-game zone though. It is, yeah, for a late zone, there's not a lot of big, bad, scary stuff. That's true. That's true. It is a good place to farm herbs. I've not had a lot of good ore luck there, but herbs, yeah. Skins, for sure. The Demon Cave. Yeah, that whole chain is worthless because it's a horrible chain for hardcore. I don't feel like there's enough quests and XP that don't require you to go into scary places. I don't know. Talk you down to good? I would go with good. I would go up from mediocre to good. Yeah, there's good loot. I think good. How do I... Oh, whoops. I'm confused. I'm gonna add a row below. I'm trying to. Good. Continue. We're running out of space for good. Okay. Alright. Here we go. Good continued. There's a lot of good. Yeah, still not worth it to do the cave. I agree. I agree. Alright, we're on to Feralus. I would say Feralus is great. Definitely for Horde. I have not done it on Alliance. So, those of you who have played Alliance in Feralus, would you agree that it is great? Yeah, Dark Wolf says great, Fun says great. Not getting any pushback on anything here. It's just all around a great zone. So many good quests. Yeah. Okay, so Alliance isn't quite as good as Horde, but still pretty good. Fine with great, okay. Alright, so let's move on to Hillsbrad. Hillsbrad Foothills. For hardcore. On classic, I don't know. I think good, probably. I mean, it spans a wide range of levels, so it's one that you kind of come back and forth for. Yeah, meh for Alliance. I wanted South Shore to be more than it was when I took the pally through there on Alliance. Good for Horde, mediocre for Alliance. It's the northernmost zone for Alliance, so if Alliance is gonna go do Scarlet Monastery as a hardcore group, that's gonna be their flight path. So at least it's got that going for it. Or Shadowfang, but then it's really hard to get to at that level. So what are we thinking? Good or mediocre? Because for hardcore, you're gonna end up skipping the end of the battle for Hillsbrad stuff because it's all elite. So you're not even gonna finish that chain unless you're in a duo or something. Excuse me, I need to take that allergy. Clearly, I need to take an allergy. All right, I'll be right back, and I'm kind of leaning into good also. If anybody thinks it should be mediocre instead of good, convince me and I'll be right back. very confused because she did not eat at her normal bowl, so she thinks it's dinner time at her bowl out there, but she's already eaten. Alright. Alliance only goes to Hillsbred because there aren't enough quests in the 30s. I mean, Frexibo, you're not wrong. Everyone's favorite alliance chain. Killing Murlocs, then Murlocs again for their heads, then Naga. Oh, right? If it was at least different Murlocs? No joke. Alright, I honestly, for hardcore purposes, Hillsbrad seems like it's kind of mediocre, because what do Horde actually do there? They go to Durnhold Keep and get killed. They go to the Hillsbrad farms and get killed. They go to the Hillsbrad mines and get killed. I'm honestly leaning into mediocre over here. For hardcore. But you get to... Well, yeah, is that enough to salvage it? I don't know. Like, even on the duos, right? We're not planning on going back over there to do a whole bunch of stuff, because it's just not worth it. Yeah, that's true. Enough survivable on Horde to be good. Okay, we can go with good. It's just good. You go there on Alliance to get a few extra quests. It's a good chunk of experience. It is a lot of cloth for first aid if you're a Horde. That's true. But it's really not good for Alliance. I would say it's bad for Alliance. Honestly, I want to put this thing in mediocre. Music is feeling loud. Wow, I can barely hear it. Okay. How's that? Alright, so... moving on... Oh, well, thanks for letting me know. Alright, moving on to Hinterlands. Remember, classic. So Gentle Lore is all elite. Like, it's great for Horde, and it is mediocre for Alliance. But Gentle Lore being all elite is not great if you're Horde solo. Like, you pretty much have to be high enough level for the rewards to not be great anymore if you're gonna solo Gentle Lore. So I would say good. Yeah, it's so bad for Alliance that I feel like Horde being great and Alliance being mediocre, it should just be a good zone. I'm leaning into just good. It is really great for Horde though. Does anybody want to make a point for Hinterlands being something besides just good? It is vastly different. Does the Alliance get to do any of the Gentle Lore stuff? Do they have Gentle Lore quests? Let me guess, you get them in Darnassus. Sorry. Sorry. Being a little cheeky. Oh my gosh, it does? Ugh. Holy crap. Noted. I guess let's take the Pally on a world tour. Alright, I really want Hinterlands to be great, but that's coming from the perspective of a primarily Horde player this time around. It has been pulling teeth to get anything worthwhile done in Hinterlands on my Alliance characters. I hate it on my Alliance. I don't think I can rank it better than good. Like, in TBC, I would say it's great. I didn't make this. This is pre-generated. I don't know how to tweak that. No, I don't have a clue. Good. Alright. Lockmodon. So this is not starter zone, just, you know, getting your feet under you. Gosh, I hate Lockmodon so much. For hardcore, there's so much that is dangerous. And it's a lot of back and forth with a huge freaking lake. I think mediocre. Like, there's a lot of good quest XP there. In the very beginning. Like, to get you from, like, 11 to 13 or something. But then, yeah, you need to go to another zone because there's just not enough. I would say mediocre at best. I can't really call it bad, though, because there is stuff to do there. I'm good with mediocre. The poor dwarves, all their zones are just mediocre. Moonglade's bad. Moonglade is just bad. There's no, unless you're a druid, there's nothing in there for you. For a hardcore character, Moonglade is pretty worthless. And then especially during like the whatever festival stuff. Yeah, there aren't enough quests to get to level 20 and go to Wetlands. Yeah, you have to go do Westfall. Mulgore, good. I was gonna put Mulgore, amazing. Alright, okay. What does everybody else think about Mulgore? It is a lot of running. What do you mean can't dual zone? Good? Just good for Mulgore, really? Yeah, it's not the fastest, but it's really safe. Where is that? It's like at the center they're lower level, and as you go out they get higher level. It's a very even distribution of low to high in like an expanding circle. Bloodhoof. And then east. Oh, toward the mines? Okay, I mean... Okay, I can go with good. I can go with good. I just figured it would be better than Duratar. Alright, Red Ridge Mountains. It's pretty crappy Alliance zone when you've got all those elite mobs that you have to kill to finish any of your quest lines. Yeah, mediocre. Like, initially there's a handful of good stuff pretty locally in that you can do, but I mean, you're not going to get more than 1.5 levels there before you run out of stuff that you can actually do at your level. Tesla, go lay down. Yeah, it is a killer. It is an HC killer. I wouldn't rank it as bad because if you pay attention, you know how to not go do the things that are likely to kill you. Yeah, half of them aren't doable. Condor meat is awful. Yeah, you're not going to get more than level 22 there. Because you can't do half of the quests in the zone as a hardcore character. Mediocre or bad? What are we thinking? Mediocre? Darkwolf? Mediocre or bad? What do you think? Yeah, go lay down. Alright, Brexibo says doesn't think it's bad. Mediocre? Okay, we'll go mediocre. Searing Gorge. I would put this one as mediocre for hardcore. Great? There's caves. There's elites that you can't solo. There's pats. What quests? Oh my goodness, that's a hardcore killer right there. I mean, if you go in when all the quests are green, yeah, you can do a bunch of quests, but you're still not gonna do the elite ones where you have to go up on the towers. You're not gonna do the guy that's got his 2 ads. You have to watch out for that pat that wanders around in the spiders and up in the hills on the north side of the zone. Like, Alliance has the go kill this elite thunder lizard thing quest, and again, it's an elite. Like, how is it great? I'm not seeing it. They're in caves! And then it's all the elite cultists. You can't finish those quest chains. Maybe your hunter had no trouble with it, but the average non-hunter character is not gonna do as well. You go for good? You meet me halfway? Okay. Well, that's because Abbers is poggers, okay? Abbers can handle Searing Gorge. Silithus. Bad. For hardcore. Bad. Just bad. Silverpine. Mediocre. Can't finish a lot of the chains as a solo hardcore. But there's a lot of stuff you can do. Good farming for herbs, good farming for skinning. The northern half of the zone is very accessible for hardcore. You have to be on the lookout for the one son of Arugul, the Lochmodan of Horde zones. I would go with mediocre. Arugula. I'll go mediocre. I just don't think it's bad. There's too much in the northern part for it to be bad. Alright, Stone Talon. It's bad for Alliance, and it's great for Horde. Son of Arugula. Yeah, there's a lot to do there. Not so much on Alliance, because you have to go back and forth from a million different places again. It's great for Horde and bad for Alliance. So, or mediocre for Alliance. Again, it's just all the Alliance quests are spread out everywhere. You can't just go to a hub and pick up all your quests for the zones. I don't know why they did that. That's terrible. So good. What do we think? Good for Stone Talon? Because Alliance does have a fair amount of quests there and a fair amount of things to do. It's just hard to get all the quests picked up so that you can go do them at one time. But if you get the quests once you're there, there are things to do. So what do y'all think? Stone Talon good? I think. I'm gonna put it in good, and if y'all think that's a terrible idea. Yeah, if you actually hunt for the quests and you know where to go to get them, then you've got a decent amount of stuff to do with it. It's still a pain in the ass, but there is stuff to do. You're gonna get XP. There's stuff to farm. There's herbs, there's mining, you'll be okay. It's not great. Stranglethorn Vale. Amazing. Just saying it. Amazing. You did Stone Talon so many times on retail for the twinks. Nice. Nice. I think Stone Talon is amazing. Okay, hear me out. I know Alliance don't have the flight path up north. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt to get there from Darkshore. And you can skip the goblin quests. Really, there's only one goblin quest to skip. The ones that are out by the lake, those are fine. Those are fine. I still think it's amazing because you've got the Booty Bay quest hub for Alliance is still at least great. Yeah, but the Elite Ogres is the very end of one chain. Like, there is so much Stranglethorn has to offer. The skinning, the herbing, all the different quest chains. I don't know. I think it's great. The Nessingwary stuff and the pirate stuff together, even with the flight path being a hike. I think it's great. I do think it's amazing too. Page 10. You don't have to do that, you know? But you're there for so long that the odds of you getting all your pages is pretty decent. I'm gonna go. I think it's amazing. I think it's the best zone in the game. I think it's the best zone in the game. Hands down. There you go. I know it's my list, but I don't like going against chat if literally everybody but me thinks it's just great. Alright, what are y'all's best zones in the game? For hardcore. For hardcore. Best zone in the game. You can get like 10 levels there. There's so much stuff to grind. There's so much stuff to farm. Barons is really good for hardcore. Yeah. For a horde. Obviously trash for Alliance. Yes, the Alliance experience and the Horde experience differ. I would say Alliance have a great experience, Horde have an amazing experience. Is the Horde's experience enough to pull it up? Or is the Alliance experience enough to pull it down? That's the question. Oh, you think it's closer to good than great? Okay. I've been waiting for this because I was ready to just toss it into amazing. Okay. I didn't mind it on the Pally. I really, really liked it. I'm still liking it. But... The Curzon stuff is rough. Yo, Topher, what's up? What's up?
That's my fancy way of saying hello.
Yo, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the Brat Pack. We're ranking the classic zones based on how good they are for hardcore leveling in classic WoW. We're hung up on Stranglethorn Vale. So let's get Topher to weigh in. What do you think? Given that Stranglethorn is kind of an amazing experience for Horde because of how their flight paths are positioned, but only like good for Alliance because there's no flight path up north and gotcha. How do you feel about it from the Alliance perspective of having no flight path and some pretty hard quests there at the beginning with the Curzon compound? Like, it's a lot of running back and forth to do anything in the middle of that zone for Alliance. That is incredibly annoying. Absolutely. I think I can live with putting it in great. Down from amazing. I was ready to drop it in amazing and walk away, and everybody else is like, no, it's not amazing. And I'm like, what? I think I'm okay with putting it in great. Definitely not worse than great. Okay. Swamp of Sorrows. It's garbage for Alliance. And I would say it's good for Horde. There's still not even a lot of stuff to do there. And oh my gosh, those stupid grinding quests for the meat, where you just have to swim back and forth in the water. It's, yeah, mediocre. I am in full agreement with mediocre. Does anybody want to make a case for Swamp of Sorrows being better than mediocre? Swamp is a joke. I mean, it's a way to get from point A to point B for Alliance, right? Dodging Somnus, yeah. Dream Dust never gave me that hard of a time, but I think mediocre is the absolute best I can go with Swamp. Alright, Tanaris. I don't even consider it a full zone. Yeah, like, Swamp of Sorrows is just... It's like, hey Horde, we felt kind of bad for you, so here's a little quest hub. Most of them are shit. Good luck. I think Tanaris is great. There's a lot of stuff to do there. For both Horde and Alliance, you've got all the pirate stuff, which, to be fair, not all of the pirate stuff is easily soloed on a hardcore character. Certainly not at level, because the mob density is redonk. But if you're willing to go in a couple levels over leveled, then the pirate quests are actually pretty good. There are some buggy caves that I'm not a huge fan of. I hate that kill the animals in 2 hours and collect all their hides and stuff, but it's great if you're a skinner. It really is. It's a lot of kills, it's a lot of skins. It is an anxiety-ridden quest that I hate doing, and I just don't do it unless I'm on a duo with fun and she's like, hey, it's great experience, let's go. So yeah. Oh, I love hunting down Omgorn for the mace. We never got that mace. We never saw him again. I do think Tanaris is a great zone. It's got a good range of levels for the quests, but if you pair Tanaris with Ungoro, which is kind of cheating, like there's the quest hub in Tanaris also has good Ungoro quests, which is kind of where you're headed as you're leaving Tanaris. So, good or great? It is a long ways across. There's a lot of empty space. For hardcore purposes, I'm actually kind of leaning back down to good, though. For the level range, yeah. The Wastewander farm to get all the patterns for your leatherworking can be a bitch, but having all of the drops coming from mobs in a pretty small confined area makes it a much easier grind. It's not like you have to go to this zone for that piece and that zone for that piece. No, you can just go kill a bunch of these guys and they're gonna start dropping stuff and eventually you'll get all the pieces. So I think great is fine. For Tanaris, for the level range, it's great. Yeah, and they're pretty widespread. The mobs that are out in the middle of the zone, it's not like they're all up on top of you. You've got plenty of room to maneuver between mobs. Yeah. It's a safe leveling experience for hardcore if you don't go into the pirates underleveled. If you go into the pirates underleveled, you're dead. That's all. Teldrassil. So Night Elf starting area. What do we think about the Night Elf starting zone? I don't know. I hate it. Like, even for hardcore, when I did my hardcore warrior, I made him a Night Elf, and it's just so many of the quests that give you good rewards and XP are down in that garbage cave. There's a lot of back and forth. Good luck actually killing the elite tumor guy. Like, no chance. Mediocre. Bad. Can I make it bad? It's not. When you look at what it would be in the category with, no, it doesn't hold up to bad. It's gonna have to be mediocre. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Add row below. Mediocre. I can spell. There we go. I can spell. Wait, what? Dang it. Here we go. Damn it, come on. Okay. Alright, looks like a lot of good and mediocre zones in this game for hardcore. Not a lot of great things happening. Mediocre. I don't know. Oh, it does. Look at that. Look at that. I guess I should have tried that first. Now we know. Thanks, Frexivo. The Barons. Great. It is great. You know which quests you need to skip, and there is so much. Amazing. It's really long. North-south. Oh, but there's 2 flight paths. There are 2 flight paths. Alright, I won't argue. I won't argue. Barons is amazing. The Barons is the Dark Shore for the Horde. 3 flight paths with Ratchet, which makes it accessible for Alliance. Plus, it's a neutral quest hub, so Alliance can do things there. It's not like it's a non-Alliance zone. Like, Dark Shore is a non-Horde zone. Yeah. True. Alright, how about 1,000 Needles? It's great for Horde. It's good for Alliance. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm working on it. Where did we put Mulgore? Uh-oh. Okay. Thank you. 1,000 Needles. So great for Horde, good for Alliance because of Shimmering Flats. Like, everybody gets to do everything in Shimmering Flats. but Alliance doesn't really have anything else to do there. Like, they've got that little quest hub that sends you up to do something with the wyverns, but yeah, Shimmering Flats bumps it up to great, I think. There's just so much to do in that one area. And the back and forth from Stranglethorn, yeah, the back and forth is annoying, but there's a lot of quests that go to one place. Yep. 1,000 Needles is great. Tirisfal. So I think we're on, yeah, this is the last Horde starter zone. Of all the starter zones, this one... I have mixed feelings about Tirisfal. Mixed feelings. I think it is laid out very well. It's great in terms of layout and the questing pathing. But for hardcore, there are quite a few quests that are going to jack your shit if you do not know what you're doing. And at that low a level, it's easy to not know what you're doing. So I think for hardcore, good is probably the best it can be. For multi-lifing, I would put it up to amazing. But for hardcore specifically, good. Yeah, some of the quests are very scary. So are we okay with making Tirisfal good? Alright. Ungoro. Amazing. The amount of XP you can get, both Horde and Alliance. The leather, the herbs, the ore, all of your crafting professions are accounted for. Or, I mean, all of your gathering professions are accounted for. So if you're a crafter, you're going there. You gotta look out for the dinosaurs. But other than the dinosaurs, it's actually a really, I'm gonna say, safe zone. Aside from the patrolling Devilsaurs, the Ungoro itself is not that bad, okay? The cave with the gorillas can get a little sketch. I don't recommend going in any deeper than just like turning in the Amy quest, not doing the escort. Some people have soloed everything in the gorilla cave, but you can ignore the little bit of gorilla stuff. Just do the hides. You can get almost all the hides without going in the cave. Even the Thunderers walk out to the front of the cave. Yeah, if the elemental invasion is up, the volcano can get sketch. But you know what to look for. And there's not a lot to do with the volcano anyway. You do the temperature reading thing. You escort the dude. And you really don't have to go back to the volcano. The amount of quests, the amount of experience, the chains that are available are, for the most part, completable. I think it's amazing. I really do. This is a hill I'll die on. I settled for great for Stranglethorn, but this is a hill I will die on. It's amazing. Westfall. Westfall. There's a lot of stuff to do in Westfall. I hate it, but there is a lot of stuff to do. The vast majority of it is soloable. So yeah, I think it's good for hardcore, even though it's a trash zone overall. It's good. Wetlands. Wetlands. I vote mediocre. Right? It's a shitty run for the Horde trying to get up to Badlands. And Alliance has a bunch of chains that you can't finish because you have to go kill elite mobs. I mean, this, we're talking about the average hardcore player. We're not talking about folks who are elite level players who can go solo these mobs because they're that good. No, for the average hardcore player, Wetlands is mediocre. There's just not enough quests, and you can't solo half of the quests that are there. And of the ones that you can solo, it's a shitload of murlocs and ghosts on boats underwater. Like, no thanks. Mediocre. Winter Spring. Amazing. Great at the absolute minimum, but I think Winter Spring is the best in-game zone. It's bright and open. You can see things. There are tons of quests. There's a lot of interactivity between the furbolgs from Fellwood and Winter Spring, so it's fairly easy, even though there's a bunch of back and forth, yes, it's fairly easy to get to the quests that you pick up in Winter Spring but are sent to do in another zone, because it's the adjacent zone. Yeah, you gotta watch out for a couple of elite paths. That dragon is awesome, or awful. But I would say at a minimum great. Winter Spring, probably amazing. There's a lot to do there, whether you're Horde or Alliance. Yeah, like you're not gonna do High Chief solo. You're not gonna do Broomerin solo. You may be able to pull off Ursius, depending on your spec. If you are, 59, you may decide that's worth it. The Yeti Cave can get a little sketch, but if you move with purpose and you know what you're doing, you'd be okay. And nobody should be down in the Frost Giant place. I think it's pretty amazing for hardcore in the game zone. Most people end up in Winter Spring grinding out their final mobs. Like, that's just where you go to finish hardcore. So I'm gonna put it amazing. And that leaves us with Western Plaguelands. I want to put it in bad, but I know the Alliance and the Horde have completely different experiences. So I would be willing to bump it up to mediocre if the Alliance stuff is good enough. Because there's a decent chunk of stuff for Horde to do there that can be done solo. It's just incredibly anxiety-ridden solo play. And forget Andorol. I don't go in there. The change for Alliance is that you can do Andorol on the home zones, but those get sketchy fast. I mean, they get sketchy on Horde also. So do we want mediocre or do we want bad? But it's not like there aren't quests. Oh, you can't do them on Horde because of the tent. Yeah, good luck burning that tent solo. That's not happening. Unless you're like super badass player. Or you get really lucky with some multi-lifers clearing the area. Ooh, I'm thinking bad. Yep. I agree. I think it's bad. Boom. We've done it. We did it, Tesla. We did it. We've got 4 amazing zones. And 6 bad zones. It looks like most of them fell into the good rating. We've got a few more mediocre than we have great. So it looks like, for hardcore purposes, there might be a little struggle busing. Average and below average well outweighs above average. So, yep. This is it. We did it. Y'all, we did it. We did it. How do I'm gonna hit save and download. Log in now to save your tier list. No, how about I just do this? I've saved my tier list. Alright. Only 4 more below than above. Actually, I guess that's not too bad. And again, to be fair, some of the bad zones are zones that don't even have quests. Like Deadwind Pass and Moonglade, if you take those out because they just flat out don't have quests in them, you still get 4 bad zones to mix with the 4 amazing zones. Like these two are kind of just like, wow, why bother? Why bother rating these? Because they're zones. So yeah, it's true. Horde definitely gets the better hardcore experience. Alright, well, I'm gonna go real quick drop this on Twitter and be like, yo, the tier list is done. The tier list is done. Here's how Chat and I ranked the classic zones based on how good or bad they are for hardcore mode. We're gonna add classic HC this. Add classic hardcore. Yeah! I can spell! Alright, let's put this bad boy on here. Noise. Okay. Tweeting this bad boy. Okay. I think it's time to get back to playing World of Warcraft. What do y'all think? That's 40 zones. Yo, Goon, we just finished the tier list. Dark Wolf rolled up in here and dropped the 15 we needed to get 100. So we're halfway there. The tier list has been completed. All 40 zones. Yes. Welcome back, Goon. Welcome back. I'll leave this beauty sitting here for a second if you want to take a gander. I agree that Barons is amazing. So yeah, this is based on how well do they cater to a hardcore playstyle. Is roughly what we're looking at. And some things like Hinterlands are great for Horde, but trash for Alliance, so it was hard to rate some of those. A lot of them fell into the good category because they were so different based on Horde versus Alliance. Never got into the others in hardcore. Oh no. I only did because Fenaria was my duo partner. My highest level solo character is 30. 30. Ooh, I'm getting sleepy. That's not good. It's only 7 o'clock. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Hold on, I need to grab my caffeine. Only because I haven't played them in months. Alright. Okie dokie. So we are going back to WoW. Oh, I've been disconnected. JK. That checks out pretty good. Actual gameplay, Frexibo. Yeah, Dark Wolf earned us a tier list, so that's what we did.